Today we're going to look at some basic techniques for using your eraser or your rubber. I've got two varieties here and I'll talk about these. I've also got some color pencil drawing and some graphite pencil drawing, and I'll talk about how we deal with these. But the first thing I want to talk about is when not to use your eraser, specifically the creative value of abstaining. Put it away. It's when you're sketching. If you are constantly erasing lines that you think are wrong, you will end up stifling or choking your creativity, and worse, you will actually struggle more to make your sketch accurate. Look at Paul Cézanne's sketch of a boy writing. In the head, we can see multiple lines for the outline as Cézanne gradually works out which lines look best to him. The same goes for his sketch of the sleeping dog. Look at the duplicate lines in different parts as he works out the shapes. Now let's return to my tips on how to get the most out of your eraser. So first of all, we're looking for a good, clean, soft white eraser. This is very, very good, but this one, this two-color one, has a great advantage because the white end is the soft eraser, it's smooth eraser, and the blue end, sometimes these come in different colors, maybe gray or pink, but this blue end is rougher. It's got texture to it and it does the heavy lifting, if you like. So I'm going to show you how we do those. I'm going to show us removing two kinds of mark. Small marks like this that are surrounded by white paper are actually quite easy to remove, but removing part of an area like this is quite difficult. So we're going to look at the small marks first. So if we look at this, we'll start with the white eraser, the smooth eraser, because this is going to do the least damage to the paper. The blue end is going to roughen the paper a little bit. Let's look at how this works. So if we erase this blue, you'll notice that the white eraser is lifting the blue off the surface quite well. Now I'm rubbing backwards and forwards, and you can see the eraser shavings are already discolored, and you can see that my eraser is discolored. But because there's white paper either side of the blue mark I'm trying to erase, the white paper is actually also cleaning my eraser with each stroke. Now you'll see when we come to these areas, I need to be much more careful about cleaning my eraser separately. Now what this has done is it's lifted the top layers of the colored pencil that were in that mark. I'm going to just brush this area so we're clean of this, and the reason I'm not wiping it away with my hands is because I might smudge the colors. So have a brush, a dry brush ready just to brush those aside. But it's still there. The marks are still there. Now this is where we use the granular, the rough, the heavy lifting part of the eraser. You need to be very careful the paper doesn't move. And here we use this, but don't press too hard. We want to just go over and over and over. And you can even hear there's a difference, because this is actually getting into the grain, into the tooth of the paper. Now we have to be careful here that we don't press and rub too hard, because we don't want to tear the fibers of the paper. Now if I try and work this to get rid of all the color, to make it pure white paper again, I'm probably going to damage the paper. But if I'm doing a color drawing, removing this much, there's a little bit of a stain deep inside, is still sufficient for me to draw another color over the top and to gradually hide that color, that original color. So I could carry on working, and working quite successfully. Let's show how that works again, say with these green marks up here. Notice I've got some blue on the eraser, so I'm going to rub on clean paper until my eraser is clean. And now I can erase this green mark here, which I don't want. First of all with the white eraser, and then with the textured, the gritty blue end of the eraser. And look what we've achieved here. That's almost 100% removed, and it probably is because the original marks with the green pencil were not so heavily worked into the paper, into the grain of the paper. So let's have a look at that. That's pretty good. Okay, so get rid of this. Now and it's the same technique if we do this with graphite pencil, exactly the same method, where we can rub quite successfully on small marks because my eraser is being cleaned on the clean paper as I go. And that's removed, and then the last trace of it can be removed with this. Okay, there we go. But what if we want to do an area in here? Now I'm going to try and take out a small circular section in here that I might put a contrasting color in. Now here I have to first of all check, is my eraser clean? And it is. And now what I'm going to do is a wipe and lift method, because every wipe that I make, you see that? It colors the eraser. So then I do it again. Now this is quite tricky, and I'm not getting much movement there, so now I might try this to begin with. To cut through the colored pencil and then clean it, because if I don't clean it, I'm just pressing more pigment back into the paper. I'm not actually lifting the pigment. The eraser's job is to lift the pigment off the paper, and you can see that I'm beginning to get that. Now let's try with and you can see I'm looking for a corner that is actually clean. Let's try that with this. I think actually we're getting a better result, aren't we, with the blue, with the texture part. Now look at this. I've created a nice, almost pure white spot by lifting, cleaning, lift some more, clean. So cleanliness of the eraser is really important, but also patience. Patience and maybe some delicacy. So what color shall I put in there? I'm going to put a bright green in there to contrast with the red orange. So that's a successful lifting of that care, and we can also do the same thing with graphite pencil. So you can see I can work in here. Now if I do this, I want you to notice what's happening around the edges of the erased part. I'm actually smudging. So that's why I have to keep cleaning the eraser so that I don't in fact make more of a mess when I'm trying to erase. And I can also use this gritty end, and you can see we're getting into the pure white paper again. So let's have a look at this. So here you can see in review that we use a combination of the white, the smooth end of the eraser, and the gritty end of the eraser. That as we go, we need to keep cleaning the eraser so that we don't, in fact, return the pigment or the graphite to our drawing. And we have to work patiently. Remember that the gritty end of the eraser can damage the paper. So we have to go carefully, and that's where we need patience, to just gradually lift the pigment or the graphite off the paper. Remember that an eraser's job is to lift, and it's lifting the pigment onto itself, and then you have to keep it clean. So the best way of cleaning your eraser is to take another clean piece of paper and to rub it. And look carefully at the end and check that you're getting all the graphite or all the pigment off. Now this cleaning job might take quite some effort, but it is worth being very careful. So I hope with these very, very simple tips you will get successful results when you're trying to erase color pencil or graphite pencil in your drawings. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to click like and share it. If you want to see more short videos with art tips, art projects and lesson ideas, please subscribe to my channel, Rob the Art Teacher.